Chapter 4. Cuba. Morning Cuba welcomed tourists with a hot sun and a humid sea wind. After saying goodbye to her fellow traveler, the bear, the girl slipped into the interior of a blue old Cadillac, polished to a shine. Here we would like such in Moscow? Then the city would not have seemed so gloomy. She smiled. On the way to the hotel, Anna enjoyed the colorful scenes of local life flashing outside the window. Cozy horse-drawn carts with horses scurried along the narrow road racing with colorful Cadillacs harnessed by dark-skinned Cubans. Tanned tourists met the new day at the tables of roadside cafes, enjoying coffee and cigars. And her mood was rising higher and higher. Arriving at the hotel, the tired traveler did not receive a room key, since the check-in in the languid country began at 4 o'clock in the evening. Anya sat down in the lobby of the hotel, waving her cap in front of her face like a fan. Her dream of throwing herself on a big soft bed and calming her tired loins was a complete fiasco. As a consolation, she was helpfully offered a taste of Cuban coffee at the reception, and she, of course, was tempted by such an idea. The thick, fragrant drink was refreshing and invigorating. Slowly sipping coffee from a snow-white cup, the girl made a plan to bring her body, still swaying from the flight, to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. After leaving her luggage in the guest room and hastily changing, she headed to the beach. Going out into the garden, Anna fell into a semi-fainting state from the view that appeared before her tortured Moscow everyday eyes. Magnificent green giant palms growing along the alley carefully sheltered the girl from the hot sun. A little further away there were snow-white gazebos, rising from the tropical flower sea like icebergs. They invited the wayfarer, exhausted by the road, into their bosoms, coquettishly opening the thin canopies. The air was filled with the aromas of fresh greenery, flowers, and the salty ocean. Her favorite ocean. And now, through all this splendor, her eyes finally caught the rich blue thread of the coastline. As she approached her, Anna spread her smile wider and wider, enjoying every inch of this blue canvas she saw. At the moment, a wide sandy beach opened its hospitable shores in front of her, finally attracting the soul. Anya took off her shoes. The soft sand crumbled between her fingers like flour. 1 step, 2, 3, the surging wave quickly shortened the distance, and her thin feet sank into the most delicate sea liquid. "Hello, ocean," Anya said, closing her eyes with pleasure. In response, a new wave came, slightly larger than the previous one. She slightly wetted her dress, but the girl did not hear the answer inside herself, as then in the Canaries. Anya opened her eyes. The ocean gently opened its mighty arms to her, but was silent. Anna stood on the shore and looked at the turquoise waves. Bending down, she caught one. Sprinkling her face, the girl persistently repeated, "Hello, ocean." The elements continued to gently wash her feet, leaving sparkling drops on them, but there was no answer that Anna was waiting for. The girl got out of the water and went to the nearest chaise longue, standing under an umbrella made of palm leaves, clumsily plopped down on it and leaned on the back. "Why is he silent?" she thought, pouting her lips. "Probably, 5 years is too much, and he forgot me. Yes, I agree, I have changed, hardened. And in the end, what did you want, you fool? You yourself forgot about him in this crazy Moscow? And not only about him, I forgot about myself," Anya thought sadly, looking at the beauty so openly spreading before her. The gentle waves continued to gently sway, as did the girl's disturbed feelings. Anna again tried to understand why the ocean does not talk to her as it did back in the Canary Islands, but the fatigue of the flight and the climate change completely confused her thoughts and feelings, and she gave up this idea. Barely touching the water, fleshy pelicans swept near the shore. Apparently, they are hunting for their breakfast. Gastronomic thoughts flashed through her overflowing head. "I think I could use some refreshment, too," the girl realized aloud and, after taking another look at the liquid sparkling turquoise, she headed to the hotel. After ordering fried eggs with ham at the pool bar, Anna supplemented her breakfast with coconut milk and pancakes with jam. The treat turned out to be incredibly delicious, and the girl, tired of the flight and the hearty food, was ready to fall asleep right on the spot, at the table. She was already looking for something soft nearby with a floating gaze, when the thought suddenly dawned on her that she could sleep on the beach. Satisfied with this decision, the girl got a hotel towel and trudged to the Paradise Coast. The day was already in full swing and mercilessly melted the white bodies of tourists lounging on sun loungers in relaxed poses. Anna hurried to take the same chaise longue on the first line, which she had already tried out today. Fortunately, he was standing on the edge of the beach, where there were almost no people, which quite satisfied the girl. She spread a towel on the sunbed and took off her dress. Carefully folding it, she improvised a kind of pillow out of it and lay down on the coveted bed. Her eyelids instantly slammed shut, like the lids of heavy sarcophagi, plunging the girl into a pleasant slumber. Enjoying her calmness, Anya thought about it. Even if the ocean does not hear me and does not remember me, it still should not prevent me from enjoying the trip. The solarium is the main reason why I'm here. And in the end, can I just enjoy my vacation? I promise myself that I will immediately forget about all my sorrows, affairs, worries. I will even forget about my beloved Umka. The half-sleeping beauty firmly stated. The sun passionately kissed the girl's thin shin, peeking out from under a shaggy umbrella, leaving a hot trace on it. It's hot, Anna said in a sleepy voice. We need to swim, she urged herself, and with incredible efforts of will lifted her slender, but softened figure in a white swimsuit. This time, Anna's visit to the ocean was not so sentimental. She entered it like a knife into melted butter, and plunged her head into the water, which turned out to be amazingly warm and soft. When Anna surfaced, she noticed that the ocean here is much saltier than in the Canary Islands. I wonder why? The girl thought. I will ask Alexey Vladimirovich about this. By the way, he promised me a dive as a gift for my, oh. How I forgot. I've already started my tanning salon. And I'm celebrating my new year here, in the waves of my beloved Atlantic Ocean. With these thoughts, Anna sincerely laughed. She laughed. She had already forgotten when she had laughed like that. I just laughed at what was good, and that's it. She lay face up on the waves in the shape of a star. The sun was a bright spotlight cutting my eyes, not allowing them to open. Anna relaxed, and for a while the mental dialogue in her head subsided. She sank into the silence of the water with pleasure. Her body seemed to merge with the ocean and become an integral part of it. Anna moved her legs in the water as if it were a tail, while pushing off with her hands. There was a sudden lightness in the body. She turned over and dived deeply, repeating the same movements, and tried this maneuver again and again, without noticing how she was moving away from the shore. At some point, the girl opened her eyes under the water, trying to see the ocean from the inside. Her eyes stung violently, and she immediately surfaced, feeling that she could barely reach the bottom. Rubbing her eyes with her hands, the girl noticed a man who was at a distance ahead of her. His long dark hair swayed on the surface of the water, enveloping his white face to an indecent degree. Anya continued to rub her eyes. She couldn't really see anything from the sun and salt. Probably a tourist from the north, the girl thought. Although now I'm not much different from him, the same pale toadstool, she chuckled to herself. The man stared at her steadily, and seemed to be frozen in indecision. Suddenly, he abruptly went under the water and quickly swam away. All that Anna managed to catch up with was the tips of his fins flashing over the water. Smart guy. We should also rent fins and a mask. And why torment your eyes? I want to see what's here. And with these thoughts, Anya, diving, swam to the shore.